In light of the stories coming out of Palestine about the struggles of disabled individuals, I thought I would tell you guys today about Islamic perspectives on disability. So, disability is considered a natural state in Islam. What I mean by that is that it has been decreed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as just something that happens to human beings. And it is not considered a deficit in spirituality or a punishment for doing something wrong, nor is it considered something special. In Islam, disabled people are rewarded spiritually for their struggles. And this is not just because of barriers that are put in place because of mankind, but also the barriers that are natural to one's disability, such as chronic pain. And there are a lot of concessions made for disabled people in Islam as well. So for example, if you are disabled and you're not able to get up and down off the floor, or even if you are not able to get out of bed, there are adaptations that are permissible in Islam for how to pray. And if you have a condition that prohibits you from doing things like making Hajj or fasting, then that is considered acceptable because after all, it's your natural state, you're just disabled. And disabled people have rights in Islam. So for example, it is a war crime to harm a disabled person, similar to how one cannot harm elderly people or women and children. And disabled people are entitled to be taken care of. They are entitled to means to support themselves, whether it be charity or work, and they're entitled to people helping them navigate their daily lives. As early as the year 700, there were Muslim leaders in the Middle East who developed programs and even centers where disabled people could go and either live, and some had work programs. There are also examples of disabled people being assigned servants, and not only did disabled people receive charity, but so did their servants receive a stipend from the government for taking care of them. And yes, it's true that Muslims are rewarded for helping disabled people, but it is also our obligation as part of our collectivist ideas of being one. In reflection of this, I think of all these spiritual and social violations that are happening as a result of the ethnic cleansing in Palestine. Because to Muslims, disabled people are not considered disposable. They are closely held, valued members of our society, our families. And even in these horrific times where you see people struggling to evacuate or care for themselves, you are also hearing stories of people who are seeing them and scooping them up and making sure they're okay. And even looking after them, knowing their vulnerable state and fearing that their family is not around to help care for them. We're seeing deep levels of compassion and care. And this is based in Islam.